Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game 8 of the scheduled 15 games of Relegations today is underway. In a moment, me and Tolly will be bringing you that one. There is tiebreakers that could happen as well, which we'll be playing straight afterwards, so just stay with us. It's going to be going all day. In this game, we're going to be seeing the last-minute monsters here up against Cyclone. One's on a losing streak, one's on a winning one.
Yes, last-minute monsters are struggling a little bit. They're down 0-2. We see CycloneGG up 2-0, so this game is very important. Teams with 3 wins is looking very promising to be into the SPL in Season 4, but if you grab 4, you're guaranteed.
4 is guaranteed, and obviously you only play 5 games to get there, so winning 3, over 50%, so you should be in a good spot, but it doesn't guarantee it at the same time, totally.
Could be some tiebreakers.
Could be, but we'll see if that comes about, because obviously right now Cyclone looking to get that 3rd win up against last-minute monsters, who, to be fair, last-minute monsters are kind of struggling here. They had a lot of roster changes, and obviously, you know, they were trying to make something happen for this, but it's still not working.
No, at this point in time, as we're heading into picks and bans, last-minute monsters, they need to find a way to transition their drafts to be able to find some victories here. They do not want to struggle in the early game against CycloneGG, where they have so much synergy. They know what ways to exploit you strategically. We've seen them in the first game actually, just proxying the whole time around between that Tier 1 and Tier 2 towers so efficiently.
Tell me a little bit about Freya, first of all. Why are we seeing so many bans to it? Do you personally feel this is a viable ban right now? Should they be looking elsewhere?
I feel it's not a viable ban personally because you could exploit her. You could just gank her a little bit, you know, look for a global pressure jungler, whether it's Thanatos, Thor, Ratatasker, look for a Giannis maybe in mid lane, apply pressure onto Freya, don't let her get to that mid to late game. There's a lot more options for Freya between the Telekine's Ring, Shaman's Ring, and Demonic Grip, obviously, whatever option you want to go. You can even go ult 3 if you really want to.
That's true.
But instead, a lot of teams are just too afraid to play against Freya, so they decide to take it off the table.
She is a hyper carry after all, but we're not really seeing them go to the late stages of the game. It's generally ending on the cusp of late stage versus mid, where gods like Nike can shine a little bit better because those passives do kick in around that time too.
And that can also be another strategy that CycloneGG took, where they actually ban away the Freya, leaving this Nike open with the Ratatasker ban, electing to kind of bait out this Apollo pick. So overall, as the game progresses, the passives are going to start getting built up for Nike, and that's going to give more mobility and more damage for CycloneGG.
Very sure indeed. Sylvanus and Apollo for the duo lane, more than likely here for last-minute monsters. Very strong duo lane, fantastic wave clear on both of them there, and that means the Cyclone are probably going to give something up in the duo lane here, unless it's maybe Izanami, Khepri, maybe something like that.
Usually that's the response to the Apollo Sylvanus composition. Both duo lanes have great sustain and great clear, great resiliency on the side of Khepri between Rising Dawn, mitigating damage, as well as the ultimate being able to revive you. But instead of going for the Izanami pick, electing to go for the Hun BAtz here.
Yeah, Izanami not really fully recognized yet in the pro scene, at least over in Europe. We've seen a couple of games from her, but not too many. North America, a little bit more established playing her there, but choosing the jungler over anything else there. Now last-minute monster is going to go for the Wombo combo of old, Sylvanus and Zeus, which Eager really showed how useful that can be together.
Ever since the Super Regionals, this combination between Sylvanus and Zeus just creates so much space control in those jungle fights, makes it very difficult to try to penetrate one circle or the other. So a Hun BAtz needs to really wait up until like level 12 or so where he gets that blink and then can safely go past one of those ultimates to start the team fight for their team's favor.
Surprised by the Vulcan ban by last-minute monsters in one way, because Vulcan's not one of the predominant mid laners you're expecting to see right now, but it is against Wlfy, who knows very, very well how to play that god to a very high level.
And it's always a good idea to target ban those players to take away some of their comfort picks, as well as having to deal against the Vulcan meatball knockup is just something that you don't really want to deal with anyway, and this is going to give more opportunity for last-minute monsters to look for some more aggressive junglers that don't have to worry about that peel.
Some very smart bans coming out there. A wheel expand away from last-minute monsters, making sure Sylvanus can't get a nice combination off there with the Gravity Surge after against a Fenrir and a Nike and a Hun BAtz, I should say.
Yes.
The leaps can also be cancelled out there too. So Bellona locked in for last-minute this time round. Over to Cyclone, looking for the mid laner, which will be Ra, who's not had the greatest of days so far.
No, not at all, unfortunately. But either way, this is going to be a great team fighting composition for CycloneGG, similar to the style that Sanguine really used to like to bring up between the Sustain God with a Khepri having a lot of resiliency. The later this game goes, especially with the Nike passive, CycloneGG's comp, especially with this Rama last pick, by the way, will just be able to do so much work in team fights, whereas last-minute monsters, they're more about this burst style with the Sylvanus ultimate and the Zeus.
Yeah, big AoE control here, a lot of setup potential on one side. However, it's dispersed on the other side of things from CycloneGG, if anything, looking to break the team fights apart or even let the engagement go badly, revive with Khepri and go again.
Absolutely. Last minute monsters. They do have a little bit of global pressure with this last Thor global pick. They're going to have to try to find a way to not allow this Rama get to the late game, because Apollo and Sylvanus will definitely want to look for early engagements and try to outbox you because of that sustain.
So we talked about early game, obviously, and about pressure to be able to go into the jungle early on. Totally, who exactly has the pressure and who are we looking for in either team to really try and capitalize on this early game?
You're really looking on the side of last minute monsters between this Thor Bellona to try to out-trade this early Hun BAtz Nike. Nike obviously struggles up until that passive comes online and until those abilities start to synergize really well with her second ability amplifying both her leap and her lane clear. That's what she's really waiting for. Whereas a level 1 Thor and Bellona, they want to fight right out the gate.
I'm looking at actual builds at the start of the game. Both Callus and HalfDevil going for similar things with watches and boots, but relic choices again. We've got meditation versus the shell. I kind of like the idea of the shell from HalfDevil here. I would have preferred it on Callus, but a bit of a boxing match early on. This is just for lane dominance, if anything else here, Tony.
They're just waiting right now for the minions to meet at the middle of the wave, and this is going to heavily favor out last minute monsters since they do have 2 ranged gods, whereas Callus can't really get too close without taking too much damage in return.
I think it's a bit of a mistake actually coming out from Cyclone there to trade, because Apollo getting those audacity stacks, very useful for him to increase his wave clear, but we're looking for poke over clearing the wave here, makes it an interesting trade between the two. HalfDevil forced to use the shell early on, Vote taking a lot of poke, invest in that, with the meditation coming out as well from Callus. The body blocks are good for now, but the autos rain down from HalfDevil. Crazy trade, but Callus is going to run for his life. This is a double kill. The mistakes have been made, and the duo lane of CycloneGG just got decimated.
And now Deathwalker's caught in a 1v3. He tried to stop the speed buff invade. Not going to really matter, though. And look at that. In the dual lane, you can't block Sylvanus autos, no matter how hard you try. Now, obviously, it was a good idea to block out the Apollo, but at that point, you just had to run to the hills.
And it was a really strange call from both the teams to go that aggressive. I really feel Cyclone messed up, not respecting Sylvanus AoE and not respecting the passive of Apollo more than anything else.
Also, on top of this, the lane clear heavily favored out the Apollo and Sylvanus earlier on, so Khepri and the Ram had to position themselves really far to the left of the wall to get off all those astral arrows diagonally just to hit the melee and the archers. And again, Joshy with all 3 kills so far in this dual laning phase, he's going to get so far ahead. And looking at his build, it looks like he might actually be rushing the Poison Star right off the bat.
Well, we generally see them go for the full boots before the Poison Star, but would you go for that now with this lead that you've got? Would you potentially go for the Poison Star right now with the boots?
Honestly, at this point, I would just go Devo Gloves, honestly. Really? Try to get the stacks as soon as possible. Looks to continue the pressure. Now, obviously, you're going to be out-damaging them, and with the rotation from Hestrix, he's going to find the portal, the stun, forcing out the beads. Not going to find the kill necessarily, but this is still good enough for Joshy to continue the lead.
Yeah, those beads were used there by Vote. Not necessarily good in the grand scheme of things, because he still took all the damage he was going to from that combination, but he did manage to survive, which is the big key right now. Last minute monsters off to such a tear at the start. Not only are they going to pick up the Oracle Harpies for a free ward here, but they're starting the Gold Fury, and Cyclone are not going to respond. Don't think it's because they don't want to. I think it's more just because they're so far behind.
They have no idea. The Hun BAtz, he went towards the right side just to be able to grab the Fire Giant Elementals. iceicebaby had no clue that this was being snuck right under their noses, and this is a great start for last minute monsters. This is a game that's going to dictate whether or not they're going to be able to make the SPL in Season 4. This has been a great showing for them already 3 minutes in.
And when you look at the teams overall here, Cyclone already won 2-0 so far today, won 2 games to themselves. Last minute monsters lost 2. Maybe Cyclone underestimated minute monsters a little bit at the start here.
They could be feeling a little bit too confident because the fact that they already beat Deserted, they beat Elevate, which was another SPL level team, so now they're facing another Challenger Cup team in terms of last minute monsters, so maybe, like you mentioned, they are overestimating them, so it's going to have to be an uphill climb for the boys of CycloneGG. Vote and Callus struggling.
4 minutes in, well, less than 4 minutes in, it's 4-0, Gold Fury down as well. You've already seen the experience difference and the goal difference here. Main thing is the right-hand side here. Deathwalker's done a very good job of trying to catch up to rebound after his early tumble, looking to steal away the speed, I think. I thought he was defending the speed, but he was in the enemy jungle doing that.
It's very risky to do that, especially against 3 members on the side of last minute monsters, so paying with his life. Surely he's not going to do that one again. His teleport is about to come online here. Teleport just now being used by rebound, so could potentially look to come back back into that wave with a tier 2 breastplate or either tier 2, another silver breastplate to be able to try to out-trade his opposition.
Now, I love the call from Last Minute Monsters here as well. They do have the gold leaders we mentioned, but they're investing some of that gold into plenty of wards. Look at their inventory right now and consumables. A lot of wards on this side. Control the map. Make sure they can't find a way back in.
Now we see both double global mitts landing down onto Calix. He's not level 5 yet. Doesn't have the snipe available, forcing out the ultimate from Wlfy. He's going to scatter away CycloneGG just to try to grab the red.
Just to get the red overall there. If we could have found a pick, it would have been even better for them. HalfDevil still going forward, looking at iceicebaby. Ultimate is good. Followed up ultimate as well there from FaraKrik. And on top of that, Joshy's going to get credit for the kill
but now
there.
Votes in the sky. He finds 2. That's all he needed to find Hestrix. The first kill on the board for CycloneGG.
Good work from Vote there just to try and turn something around and make the best of a terrible situation where they lost a red buff and another life in the terms of iceicebaby here. 5-1 now though. But the best thing is Rama did get a bit of an answer back here. It wasn't a Thor. If it was onto Joshy on that Apollo, it could have been a different story.
Absolutely, but it's also a good thing the fact that we see HalfDevil sitting in Joshy's lane because that's going to allow Vote to still grab some solo farm for the most part. Has to avoid that pull luckily, but look at this iceicebaby. Going to get stunned out by rebound. Still going to find the jump. Great job finding another kill on the side of CycloneGG.
And rebounds, Eagles rally was fantastic to try and peel for his mid laner there, but it wasn't good enough. iceicebaby had the somersault available, cleans it up, and now looks to the jungle himself to see if the speed was up. Sadly not. Hestrix doesn't jump to the hammer there. He himself doesn't have a speed buff right now, so both junglers down, but Deathwalker wrapping round the back.
He's not going to be able to really get out of this one. The ultimate being used by Nike. Snipe not on the mark. Hestrix now going to be able to get under that tier 2 tower safely. Did have to use the beads though, so great rotation from CycloneGG. They realize where their strengths were, where their weaknesses are. Now they're grouped up and utilizing the resiliency from Calix with a Rising Dawn. These team fights, these small skirmishes rather, are tipping in their favor.
And credit with the beads there as well to Hestrix, because the beads, it didn't actually remove any CC, but it did remove the slow, which is a soft CC that the snipe could have connected coming out from Wlfy. He gave him a little bit more mobility just to escape for the time being. Pressure is on from Cyclone. They're looking to try and answer back a couple of times here, secure their own jungle, catch up a little bit more in terms of the gold deficit.
Heading into the 6.5 minute mark, CycloneGG, they're only down about 1,500 gold compared to how they were down before, about 2,000 gold earlier on. Now rebound in a 1v2, should be fine under that tier 1 tower. Not really wanting to use that Fear No Evil to try to gank a level 9 Bellona that does have that tier 2 silver breastplate.
And it's not necessarily the gold right now, it's more the experience that we always kind of look to in the early game, and the best news is the experience isn't much of a difference between the two. So the gold split 5 ways isn't insurmountable to come back from just yet. It's using those items that you get from the bonus gold to good effect. Hestrix gonna look up and immediately Vote, recognizing there could be danger there, rolls away. Clearly ward placement just spotted him in time, or he heard it more than likely. That's what a lot of people do though, Tolly. They hear it coming.
You have to be able to just position yourself correctly. Even if the dive happened, that would have been a lot of damage, even if Joshy and HalfDevil committed. And now it's iceice wanting to maybe commit. No, he's not going to teleport to the monkey, not going to throw out that ultimate.
Pretty sure that if the monkey only bounced to HalfDevil there, he may have got in on that one, but once he realized Joshy was there too, he didn't like that call at all. Changed his mind, back to away with somersault being down. Back to mid lane he goes though, and he leaps in there as well, looking for the pick onto FaraKrik in the mid lane. Not enough to pick up FaraKrik, sorry I should say, but he has used his ultimate and the beads in response.
Wlfy hasn't been really on the point with his snipes. Needs to be doing a better job. Now granted, the beads was used by the Zeus, able to walk away from that one, but maybe he should hold on to it a little bit longer just to wait for the guaranteed damage.
But with the guaranteed damage overall, so it's kind of difficult, I guess, with the comp, because Hun BAtz Fear No Evil's kind of moved them in different directions, not necessarily the one you're going to predict. Are you waiting more for Abducts, maybe, from Calix?
Yes, that's something you should definitely wait for. Maybe even the rune necessarily. Doesn't always have to be the Abducts, but it's HalfDevil caught out of position, forced to use the Wrath of Terror, trying to peel away for his support. The dash didn't find the knock-up, and that snipes are good enough.
Very good. Now Josh is in trouble because of that too. iceicebaby still closing the gap, but they've got to be careful of FaraKrik coming around the back as well. Chain Lightning to hit minions more than anything else, and Rebound, who made a rotation with Deathwalker from the solo lane, gets picked up trying to flank around the back as well.
Too much
Cyclone
flanking.
turn this around this game, and now they can look at the goal.
Too much flanking. They actually find the net. So they gave up the first 5 kills, and after that point in time, they find the next 4. Hestrix gonna go into the sky, trying to stop that Gold Fury attempt. Will find the reset, and gonna allow Callus to find the revive, and landing back down is Joshy.
Looking for 2 as well. Should be able to pick it up. Next on the list might be iceicebaby for the 3rd as well. But a Fear No Evil turns it around. Crit for days, he says, with a Poison Star coming to the rescue. But he still takes out 3 in trade for himself.
Globals on globals on globals. 3 for 3. Great play from Hestrix and Joshy, keeping themselves still relatively even in the game. Had they not had those ultimates available, that would have been a free Gold Fury for CycloneGG, really starting to pull away with this one.
Pretty sure, though, who got the pick up on that? Was it Deathwalker who got the kill there onto Joshy? Because that's a big shutdown bonus, that totally.
Yes, Deathwalker got the kill onto Joshy at the very end there with that jump.
And that actually just makes the gold lead just like a little bit more even for them. Deathwalker going to get that bonus gold, able to invest into a bit more defense, to be able to weather the storm of this Apollo as this game goes on.
Level 12 now, still also going for a very interesting option, going for a Mark of the Vanguard, trying to deter a lot of the damage from HalfDevil with all that damage over time between the Wisps and the Wrath of Terror, as well as the Berserker Barrage from the Thor. Obviously, the Chain Lightning Detonate combination will get deterred from FaraKrik, so great smart play. It does hurt his like fully complete item, because if you look on the side of Rebound, he's already finished off a high enemy in line.
I think the time we've really seen Vanguard, Tolly, is on the defensive when you're behind more than anything else, just to try and even things up a little bit, weather the storm of the engagements a little bit more. But like you said, as the game goes on, it does come back to haunt you a little bit.
Yes, that 5 damage over every single source of damage incoming could potentially help him out in the mid game, but in the late game, that is not going to really help you out at all. So has to be taking advantage of it as soon as possible if the team fights happen.
Once again, FaraKrik in the mid lane, forced to beads away from the Fear No Evil of iceicebaby. Iceice doing good wiggling with that Fear No Evil overall, though, managing to constantly force beads, which means there's more potential for picks onto the Zeus.
Slow and steady game, because sometimes you can't always find the kill off of one initial gank. You have to set it up for the future, and by taking away beads off the table, that's going to be a very easy target, because Zeus doesn't have a natural escape. Without any purification or Aegis, he's going to have to use his ultimate on top of himself to zone for or appeal for himself.
Well, even though beads are down on Zeus now, the Gold Fury started by last-minute monsters here. FaraKrik on the way back from base as well. But as soon as they see reinforcements from Cyclone around the area, they change their mind about it. Got to be careful of the global ults, or even just the raw snipes coming through potentially to secure this objective.
Both teams have very big tools to their disposal to be able to stop objectives, like you mentioned before. Wlfy does have that snipe to secure objectives, but at the same time, last-minute monsters can create a big disruption here between their global ultimate pressure.
HalfDevil still trying to pressure this duo lane quite a bit at the moment, looking to pick onto Vote every single time he can, and looking to get Joshy further ahead. I'm not sure if I like this call though, Tolly, because Joshy's huge right now anyway. He could look elsewhere. But by doing this, hold that thought, Cyclone starting the Gold Fury.
Last-minute monsters need to be looking at the Gold Fury here. Joshy and Hestrix is in the sky, gonna land back down, and that's gonna be Callus reviving Wlfy in the process, taking it to the sky. It's Wlfy, he finds the snipes.
And the snipes still raining down. One more shot was good, but Vote's still in trouble here. Looking to get cleaned up, trying to flank around the back, but the pull from HalfDevil is quality. Best news in the world, though, for him is Deathwalker's there to slow them down and continue the mystical male ticks where he can. Vote still alive for now as Joshy was looking to clean him up. Now Deathwalker versus 3, still looking to trade out against him. Meditate is good. Deathwalker's going to watch himself. Reinforcements from Cyclone get brutalized on the backline. Boys come in to help out. Instead, they end up in base.
That's a 3-for-0. Wlfy finally respawning, and great recognition of the teams just peeling for one another. The meditation, which is on point. We saw Deathwalker trying to peel for his boy iceicebaby for as long as he could, but just not enough in time. And with the Portal Demon left open, Callus making the rotation here.
And the big thing there was Iceice and Vote both grouped together trying to support their solo lane getting out, and instead they were basically like a piece of tender steak that got brutalized then. There was nothing they could do against it. Both got hit by the hammer.
Very tasty.
And Rebound goes, thanks very much, I'll take a double.
Very tasty steak. So overall, that was a 3-for-0 there, as the Gold Fury does get complete there at the 12-minute mark. The gold is still very even here for last-minute monsters, as they were able to actually take that one off the table with the ultimates from Hestrix and Joshy.
CycloneGG have given windows for Last Minute Monsters to continue to get ahead or at least even things up time and time again from the minute go. The problem is Last Minute Monsters seem to be is that they're not the ones that really initiate. They're more counter-initiating off of the plays of Cyclone. And if they start to realize that, they could start to run away with this game.
This is something that both teams are going to have to recognize as the game progresses. In the 14-minute mark, there's going to be a lot of attention towards this portal demon that's going to allow teams to start going in and out of the action ever so greatly. So once these team fights connect, this is where the Hunters are really starting to take off. Poison Star onto both of them. Wind Demon is going to be the next big power spike between Vote and Joshy.
Yeah, the Wind Demon, as you said, just completed by Joshy there. Vote still in lane, looking to farm up a little bit more. Not too far behind in terms of gold, though, in the net worth scale of things, but it is enough to deny it for the time being. Keep an eye on relic choices so far. Nothing too unusual in the grand scheme of things. Blink on the Hun BAtz, as you're used to seeing. Meditations and teleports.
And already, if you're looking at the item choices for HalfDevil here, he elected to go for the Stone of Falk. He really wants to negate that burst damage coming out of Wlfy. So now, if you viewers at home are not really used to this item, this passive, anytime you would be dealt more than 30% of your maximum health by a single magical ability, the damage is instead reduced to exactly only 30% of your health.
And it is single as well, so it's mainly the raw snipe more than anything else that's really going to make an impact here. Maybe some Rama snipes too, potentially, in the later stages of the game, but it's not that third hit.
Much. But it is also, it's only magical damage
so
ability.
It's only raw then, so it's only raw snipe and maybe a little bit of the line damage. The dot damage will not make an impact here.
Not at all. So overall, that's a great pickup, especially in the early stages of the game. Nice jump right before the mess, but now he lands right back down onto HalfDevil.
But with Wlfy there in support with the heals, it's not really for the healing. The extra protections you'll get from that sustain as well does come into play to make Deathwalker a little bit tankier there. Now, we did see he went for Mystical Mail, by the way. He had it in the last engagement total, the big one around the Gold Fury. How are we feeling about Mystical Mail at the moment in terms of this build?
If you're going to be really super tanky and you want to be staying in that backline as long as possible, the Mystical Mail will help out your DPS in the long term, trying to deter maybe Joshy away from these team fights, because you look at the level disparity here, level 16 for Deathwalker, only level 14 for Joshy, so there's going to be a big enough stat lead for Deathwalker to be able to stay in that back line.
And on top of that as well, I'm just looking at Rebound's build here. It's the second time he's done this, going for a Gauntlet of Thebes to support his team more as well. Gives him health and protections of both magical and physical that he gives to the team as well. An aura item that we expected to be seen more on supports, but the problem is that obviously the supports still need to go for Heart Ward and Sovereignty as well, so we've seen a little bit more of this Thebes coming out from solo, which I can kind of understand the idea of.
Yeah, you want to be able to get both of those physical and magical protections for your team, as well as, you know, sometimes you get both the Sovereignty and the Hardwood Amulet, but otherwise you'll still go for the Gauntlet of Thebes. So I like this idea here.
It gives all the auras. That's
yeah, basically. So now we see that's why Stone of Foul was picked up by HalfDevil in electing not to go for that Hardwood Amulet.
Well, he might be going for Hardwood Amulet there because he looks like he's investing into that as the game goes on.
Could be a Pestilence as well, trying to get the anti-heal to prevent the healing coming online for Wlfy.
Good point as well. We do have a Divine Ruin on the side of FaraKrik as well, just in case. Purple Buff traded out there between the two, and it looks like Joshy won the fight there. Vote sadly not going to be able to pick that up. The Purple Buff, if you're new to it this season, is a reduction in it's a damage reduction on your enemy.
Yes, it does give you some more protection shred available to clear out the minions, as well as, to be able to do onto gods only in these team fights. So you want to really give it to your supports whenever possible.
Eagles rally from rebounding, Vaged onto Wlfy, just poking down, forcing Deathwalker to deal with that. However, Last Minute Monsters can't continue on to the Portal Demon for the time being, but it takes a while to regen here, and as you can see now, CycloneGG, they're going to start it up themselves.
Rising Dawn was used, so it was spotted out here by HalfDevil. He's going to try to wrap around underneath. Cal's doing a good job zoning for as long as he could. Portal Demon is at about half health. Wlfy's going to pop out the sustain. HalfDevil taking a lot of damage and a triple knockup.
Big ultimate coming out, but HalfDevil still stands. Meditate as well after the Stone of Foul passive really helped out. Deathwalker still doing work onto him though, and Hestrix going to join in, focusing onto Wlfy. Purification and Aegis down for the Raw. However, the ultimate from Khepri will keep him alive for a moment, but not long enough. I don't think right now is the collapse from Last Minute Monsters is really good. Vote is looking to clean up as much as he can, invest into Joshy, 2 crits in a row, and that means Aegis for Joshy, out of position and alone. Now he's going to be the first one to fall.
And now FaraKrik might be a little bit of trouble as well, as Wlfy gets taken out by Rebound. The pull onto HalfDevil, that's going to be 2 for 1 so far. Rebound looking for a return kill, but there's nobody really that's too tasty. Callus is going to find the root, still walking away. Deathwalker right behind him, but look at this. Behind him is Hestrix and FaraKrik.
Good work from Rebound to slow this down. Deathwalker turns his attention to Hestrix, looking to try and put some damage back and slow the advance of the last-minute monsters. Still, Rebound doing work on the front side, but that's all she wrote for the engagement. Overall, 2 for 2. Nothing really comes of it.
A great ultimate also by Callus, just keeping Wlfy alive a little bit longer there in that engagement to allow the rest of his teammates to continue the action. Finding that kill onto Callus was so important for Rebound because that could have been even more pressure as the goal fear is actually going to be started by CycloneGG.
Yeah, but Hestrix is over on this side of the map as well, looking towards the red buff. Hold out for it, jumps over the wall straight away to see the goal fear is below half, and Cyclone have a little bit of a panic attack there.
I'm surprised they don't continue to do this because a Thor that's in your face against a Thor that's coming from the sky further away is less scary, honestly. And the fact that
he uses hammer too, you saw him.
Yeah, and on top of this, iceicebaby could easily secure the goal fury by just throwing the Fear No Evil right on top of himself.
Ward in the skies, Hestrix right there, looks for Vogue, but didn't find him. Instead, he will stun iceicebaby, but now that's down, it means that once again, last-minute monsters have to reset the gold. Gold Fury, though, wasn't fully reset by Cyclone, who now get aggro of it, and it's way low, forcing HalfDevil in.
And that's going to be another goal fury for CycloneGG. Fear No Evil was used here. The pull is good onto Wlfy. HalfDevil finding thor.
Into an Eagles rally from Rebound as well. The Zeus ult on top. Not the best placement of the Zeus ult, though, to get maximum damage potential. Into the sky goes Vote once more. 1, 2, second, not really going to find a home. The third not needed as Hestrix was already dead. Rebound on the front, look for a big old bludgeon then, but a good abduct from Callus will stop him, and now Rebound is surrounded as the rest of his team just disappear as Vote gets credit for another kill.
CycloneGG with an epic comeback. They were down 0-5, and now they're able to secure their second goal fury of the game. They find 2 for nothing, and with those 2 kills, the respawn timers are long enough that they're going to apply pressure onto this tier 1 tower, and with the sustain from Wlfy, they're going to be topped off hard enough that they can continue the pressure onto tier 2. Rebound still dead for 25, Hestrix still dead for 7.
Yeah, and you can see the damage charts on the left side, the net worth on the left-hand side here. I want to see the healing charts eventually if we could. But right now, tier 2 Immune Siege, Deathwalker on the front side, absorbing most of the damage, obviously protecting the minions, if anything else, to allow that siege to continue. Tier 2 tower falls, Cyclone extend their gold lead over 5,000.
Great play from CycloneGG. They're baiting out so many cooldowns there. So overall, despite them not getting the goal fear on the first time around when they reset it to the Thor, it basically baited him out because it was... They felt that last-minute monsters were so confident to grab their own gold fury that they used this ultimate just to be able to use it as a satellite zoning tool, but not on the mark to be able to really take out Vote. And the reset obviously brought it back in the favor of CycloneGG, securing the gold fury with Searing Pain and the Fear No Evil.
Engagement around the demon, and there's the Fear No Evil from iceicebaby, zoning away last-minute monsters, securing the portal for the team. Deathwalker on the front side to slow them down once more. Cyclone don't really want to commit now if they can help it, as the snipe comes out from Wlfy.
Man, snipe from Wlfy in the backline, and net because of that, the front line is between HalfDevil and Rebound are completely split up. This team fight is going to CycloneGG. They grab the Portal Demon, they grab another 2 kills, and now they're going to grab the Fire Giant.
And immediately last-minute monsters just fell back, going, no, this fight is over. They get a Fire Giant for free. The call to disengage from last-minute monsters there. I know they were behind totally, but it's awful.
It was just a great snipe from Wlfy. We saw in the early game, Wlfy was struggling so hard by trying to find those targets with his snipe, but that time he found 3 squishy members. He found Hestrix, FaraKrik, and Joshy in that backline.
Now, the one thing you didn't even notice there is in the consumables tab, Callus did have a frenzied ritual there. He increased the attack speed and damage of his team in that engagement overall by 20% and 25% respectively, and you can see just how much that made an impact as that quick engagement happened.
Finding the right tier 2 tower, now moving towards the Phoenix, absolutely melting it here with a respawn from Rebound. Left-hand side is Joshy. Could potentially put pressure on this tier 2 in the mid lane.
Cyclone have really come a long way from what we saw last season, Tully.
Yes.
You know, we saw regionals with them. They had pretty good performances, but the longer and longer this team stays together, the stronger they seem to become. They were at a big deficit at the start of this game. Let's take into account duo lane gave away how many kills overall early on?
About 4 kills at one point or
and yet
another.
They're still back in this now, looking to go 3-0 in the relegation stage.
And they're doing a great job heading into the 23-minute mark. They're putting pressure onto this middle Phoenix. They're going to be able to find a pull onto HalfDevil. The snipe is good. Fear no evil, though.
Is very, very big, but Aegis was used by Wlfy to absorb enough. Not enough to get away from Hestrix, though, but he'll go down in trade overall there. Rebound and FaraKrik, the last two in the backline as Joshy comes in once again. Joshy's having a great game for himself, even though his team isn't, and he's taking it to vote MBK. Deathwalker forces Joshy back. Mystical Mail still into play here as well. Tick, tick, tick goes that, and Rebound's just getting slammed in the back of the head at the same time. Phoenix once again focused as Deathwalker continues to hold the aggro. Phoenix falls. Cyclone wasn't clean, but good enough to get what they came for.
They still got a 2 for 2 and the middle. Phoenix Fire Giants still around 3 of their members for another 2 minutes, so that's a great play, extending their goal lead to about 9,500 gold here. This is a great comfort zone here for CycloneGG. They really want to close out this game, get themselves in a 3-0 position, and if they get one more win, that guarantees them in Season 4 SPL.
Exactly, and they might get a bit of a break after this one. I'm not sure when the next game is, Cyclone, so if they do have an opportunity to sit back and rest, the rest of the games might unfold before them realize they've already qualified based off this if they do close this one out.
That's very true. The stars could align, and that we see that CycloneGG wouldn't even technically need a 4th game depending on how the rest of the standings fill out. So moving forward past the 24-minute mark, CycloneGG still looking really solid. They're just going to continuously group up, and every single time Callus is in that front line, it's looking very troublesome for HalfDevil because he's the constant target getting pulled in.
Interesting choices from iceicebaby here in terms of build as well. I just saw him go back to base and sell a couple of items. He did manage to pick up his Titan's Bane, but also that lifesteal item in the first slot totally of Days of Old. It's not something we've seen too often.
No, not at all.
Time's gone on.
Bloodforge is another item that has been changed recently. Now the passive, what it does is it gives you a little bit of a shield now it's active. It gives you 10% movement speed as well as a 200 health shield plus 10 per player level for 20 seconds after killing an enemy god.
And that's actually been in, that was in Season 3 as well overall there. But the other thing about that is the fact that the amount of power on that item is just so strong overall. Is one of the reasons you see it for the power spike, if anything else, to allow him to just deal a little bit more damage. And like you said, that shield and movement speed comes in when you're on a Hun BAtz in the front line.
And diving into the back line, finds Hestrix in the Fear No Evil, doing a lot of damage. He finds the Health Shield to continue the action. HalfDevil going to get wiped out by Deathwalker, still jumping, landing onto FaraKrik. The snipes from Vote is good. 3 members are dead. Left side Phoenix is still being put pressure on. Rebound's going to fall as well. That's deicide.
This will be game 25 minutes in, and CycloneGG did what they needed to find the win. It was not clean at the start, but they did turn it round with good communication overall and decision making. MVP for that game for me is probably Deathwalker alongside Vote, because Vote did very well in a deficit after the early game, and then on top of that, Deathwalker did some great decision making on the front line. Vote
definitely made a huge impact for his team with those snipes that he has been able to make out, as well as the snipe from Wlfy in that one encounter around the Fire Giant. It was actually, they were down 0-5 at one point, up until CycloneGG. They found 4 continuous kills. I think there was this point in time where last minute monsters, they overcommitted. We saw Joshy trying to dash offensively just to peel for HalfDevil.
And I think the big key here, looking back at this, is a small mistake from HalfDevil that turned into so much. It was a double kill to Vote to bring him back into the game a little bit, and then would you
That's
look
the
at
snipe right there. The snipe that deterred 3 people away. HalfDevil and the Bellona had nowhere to go. Rebound took a spill. That was a clean 2 for nothing because of the snipe from Wlfy.
And it was all panic at the back lines because immediately all got hit and went, oh no, I need to get out of this
700 plus damage for each of those 3 members because of that frenzied ritual as well that was picked up to help out CycloneGG win that encounter.
It puts them in a good standing now. They are 3-0 at the top of the standings right now. We could take a little look at those as well just to see where last minute monsters fall and the rest of the teams as well.
Not looking too good here for last minute monsters or Deserted on the very bottom without any single wins. They're 0-3, but at the top, CycloneGG 9 points, 3 victories, clean sweep for them thus far. Right behind them is going to be Novus Orsa, New Game Plus, sitting with 6 points with 2 wins each.
It's pretty much totally a 4-horse race now, right, for 3 spots. I think last minute monsters and Desert are pretty much dead here in the water, but the fight is definitely still on between Novus, New Game, and Elevate overall here to try and succeed. And if, you know, things go wrong for Cyclone right now, they could go out as well. So 4-horse race as it stands, still all the games to play. Obviously, we're going to bring you every single one that matters so far today, and any tiebreakers as well. We'll be going straight into the next one momentarily too. Who was your pick?